Welcome to the New Life Stories channel. We hope you will have fun with us. Enjoy watching.
Grandma grew out of the ground. She was gone, and there she was. He barely had time to hit the brake. The powerful car roared to a halt like a tamed predator. Kevin White jumped out into the street. There was a lot on his tongue. He opened his mouth, but then he stopped talking. "Good health, Branson. What's your hurry?" The strange grandmother smiled ingenuously. Her eyes were like transparent blue lollipops. A faded handkerchief with flowers, a chintz dress. On her feet, old, worn-out shoes. She fixed her gray hair with her heavy hands and smiled once again. The smile was quite childlike, even the same defenseless pink gums as babies. Kevin was respected by his colleagues and feared by his partners. He was tough, uncompromising, not afraid of anything. It was believed that goes on the heads and alien to him human emotions. And if someone else had been in the place of grandmother, that person would not have missed the depth of his anger. But somewhere deep inside Kevin was a little boy who loved his childhood and his grandmother, Adele. His parents used to bring him to her all summer long. He slept in the canopy. He woke up when the aroma of his grandmother's pancakes and cakes wafted throughout the house. He would jump up and run to her on the wooden floor, warm from the sun. Grandmother pressed him to her, hugging him with her flour-stained hands, which she wiped on her apron. There was a mug of steaming milk on the table, and then they walked into the field, and the clouds drifted low, cornflowers swayed. On the horizon was a cow named Dinpa grazing, and next to her walked a horse Amber. In the evening grandmother told stories, and you could go out on the porch and listen to the sounds of the night guests, as she called them. Something glowing in the grass, someone rustling. And there was no one happier than little Kevin at that moment. Trips to Grandma Adele's house were something he always looked forward to. His sophisticated and fashionable mother traveled to resorts. His father, a big government official, was away at work. The boy had everything: toys, trips, fulfillment of every wish. But he wanted to go to his grandmother's village, and he could not understand that day the terrible words on the phone. "Grandma Adele died." "What do you mean?" "Adele can't die. How will Smokey and Amber be without her? The night fireflies. How will he, Kevin, be without her?" The boy's stamina, standing there and not even crying. He's so focused. People at the funeral marveled at him. Kevin asked to go to the funeral, even though his father and mother did not dissuade him. The pain inside him was breaking him, beating him, twisting him. But outwardly he stood firm, not even crying. With Grandma Adele, everything that was so dear to him was gone. His character has changed since then. Years passed, and now he's 35 years old. He was on his way to the airport. He had a business trip ahead of him, but suddenly he remembered a request from his friend, gamekeeper Jacob. "Send a telegram, Kevin. It's very important. I'm running out of time myself. I have to go into the woods. I can't get through to my people. It's for my aunt. They don't get cell service very often. Send it, please. Don't forget," Jacob asked. Kevin didn't forget anything, but he got wrapped up in a new contract, and for some reason he forgot. He remembered on the road. Checked the navigator. A place with an unfamiliar name. Some kind of town, some kind of village. He still has time to get to the plane. He has time. He sent a telegram, got behind the wheel, and drove to the airport. And that's when, as if from under the ground, that grandmother appeared. She looked just like his grandmother, or was it just his imagination? All grandmothers resemble each other with a feeling of boundless happiness and something that makes your chest ache and you want to smile. "Why did you step out into the road so carelessly? I could have run you over." "There's no crosswalk. I'm in a hurry, yeah, for the plane," he sighed. "Grandson, help me please." Clutching the sleeve of his jacket, the old woman asked. Kevin glanced toward the car. The wallet was there. "Now, how much money do you need?" he asked. "Money? What money?" "No, what are you, dear? This is not necessary. Help me find Ancos." Granny still did not let go of his hand. "Anchovy?" He raised an eyebrow. It immediately formed in his mind. An elderly woman had lost her dog. But he didn't have time to look for her. "Grandma," you yell at him. They'll come running. Or he'll come to the house. You've got the whole place to yourself. Your anchovy's not going anywhere. Kevin looked at his watch. There was still time. "My name is Dorothy. What's yours?" The old woman kept up. "Kevin," he said quietly, Kevin, that was my husband's name. Kevin, help me, will you? My legs can't hold me, I'm so upset. Anchovies are all I have left. I buried my husband a long time ago. My daughter and granddaughter died last summer. There's no one left now. Only him. The grandmother began to wipe her tears with the edge of her handkerchief. Kevin looked at his watch again. If he drove fast, there was still time. Get in the car. We'll go around the streets. You don't have that many. This place is a pastoral idyll. Everything's green with flowers. He helped the old lady into the car. They took a quick ride through the streets. Only they never found Anchovy. He must have hid. Dorothy, listen. I've got a plane to catch. I wouldn't have come here at all. But I remembered the telegram. Everybody needs something here right away. A telegram for my friend Jacob. A telegram for you to find Anchovy. Let's do it this way. You look for him. Go ahead. I'll text you my phone number. Okay. I'll come and help you if you need anything. Don't cry. If you can't find him, do you want me to buy you a corgi? Kevin offered. What corgis? What do I need corgis for? I have my own at home. I dry them on the stove. Dorothy splashed her hands. No, you don't understand. A corgi is a dog, like the Queen of England. Would you like one? Grinned the young man. No, grandson. I don't want those crusts. What kind of queen am I? I want Anchovy. He's the only one I need. Grandma kept looking at him trustingly. They went outside. The sun hung in the sky like a glowing orange ball. It smelled of cut grass and honey. Kevin put his grandmother's business card in his pocket. He walked to the car. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed that the old woman first rushed after him, then stopped. He got behind the wheel. He had to get on a plane right away. They'll be late, and there will be a new contract and money. He can still make it if he drives really, really fast. Before he drove off, he looked in his grandmother's direction. She was standing there crying with her head down, wiping her tears with the edges of her handkerchief. She met his gaze through the open window. God bless you, Kevin. You've wasted enough time on me. I'll do it myself. God help me. She waved her hand at him. And through the summer and sunshine, he suddenly saw a snowy winter, and Grandma Adele waved to him until she disappeared behind the shroud of snow. He never saw her again. Yes, he has a contract and money at stake. And what does she, this old woman, have? An empty house with no loved ones? A mysteriously disappeared anchovy in which all life and love are centered. He can't leave. It would be a betrayal. To that old lady. To his grandmother Adele. Kevin sighed. The car moved smoothly, he set it aside. Walked towards the old lady, sadly thinking that the deal had sailed. Both his friends and acquaintances wouldn't believe it if they saw what he was doing. But it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Why don't you? Don't you have to go? The old woman grabbed his sleeve again with hope. Now we don't have to go. Well, let's go find your anchovy. You call me you grandson. It's Grandma Dorothy. I'm sorry I kept you, Kevin, but I couldn't help it, sobbed Grandma. Kevin, on impulse, pulled her to him. They stood like that for a while. A smartly dressed young man and a simple village old woman, strangers until now. And then they wandered the streets for a long time. And Grandma Dorothy kept yelling, Anchovy. She called him home to her house, saying he must be tired. The house was small. It was poor inside but clean. Kevin promised himself mentally to help his grandmother. A crocheted openwork tablecloth on a round table, a painted teapot and a pie plate, a jar of milk, colorful rugs, pictures on the wall, a gray-haired man with a dimple on his chin, a young woman cradling a green-eyed little girl, a family, her family, near icons. Sit down, grandson. Would you like some milk? Goat's milk? I have Zorka. Here's milk from her. The pies are here, under the towel. With potatoes, with cabbage. Eat them, dear. You looked so pale to me at first. Grandma stroked his blonde hair. He smiled. For the first time not on duty, but from the heart. It was the same milk from his childhood. And the pies were just like Grandma Adele's. He'd stopped eating pastries anywhere. Ever since Grandma was gone. Because everything seemed bland and tasteless. The long-awaited sense of peace had come. He even felt sleepy. He hadn't dreamed in a long time. And all the time there was a feeling of chasing, running somewhere, keeping up. Until now, Kevin hadn't realized how tired he was. And he missed these conversations, warm, heart to heart. Because he didn't trust even the people he was friends with. His dad and mom loved him, Of course, just like he loved them, but the warmth he had with his grandmother was missing. And now it was coming back. Grandma, let's go look for your missing person. Kevin got up. Strangely, he didn't see any dog bowls in the house or in the tiny kitchenette. But he figured that because of the nice weather, the aforementioned anchovy might have been snacking in the yard. In one of the streets they met a burly lady in a red dress with roses. She gawked curiously in their direction and stopped. "Hello, Dorothy. Listen, my son and grandchildren are here again. How nice it is." The grandmother Dorothy nodded. Kevin was standing next to her. He had left his jacket at the house. Dark blue pants, white shirt. The neighbor, having given out the news, took another look at him and couldn't help herself. "And who's that with you, huh?" Grandma Dorothy was silent, and someone's voice, in which he recognized his own, suddenly said, "I'm the grandson, Kevin. Let's get acquainted." The neighbor oohed and awed, even almost dropped her bags and rushed off down the street, stopping a random passerby and gesturing frantically in their direction. Grandma Dorothy smiled shyly and stroked Kevin's arm. That's the way they walked, the old lady and the businessman. Suddenly a goose came running out from around the corner. It flapped its wings, cackling. The old woman shrieked and rushed towards it. The bird hugged Grandma Dorothy, trying to rest its head on her shoulder. "Kevin, come here. He's here, thank God. There he is. Anchovy's mine," the old lady said. Kevin laughed. "No, it can't be. A goose. Why did he think Anchovy was a dog? He's such a good boy. When he was a goose, he got so attached that he became a loyal friend. He follows me around. Geese remember people and find their way without difficulty. That's why I was so scared when he disappeared today. He's never gone anywhere. And you know how he guards the house. As good as a dog. I named him that because he likes anchovies. I don't know why. Everyone is surprised. Geese like to nibble on grass. But this one is special. He grabs an anchovy and runs. Either he eats it or he hides it somewhere." Grandma Dorothy happily shared her impressions. The three of them walked to Dorothy's house. Anchovy waddled ahead. Kevin left his cell phone in his jacket. He picked it up. 70 missed calls from his mom. Something wrong. Before he could dial her number, the cell phone came to life. "Who is it?" "Oh, my son, Kevin." "Son, where? What? Kevin, is it really you, honey?" His mother was crying. He had never seen such emotion in her before and tried to say something. But all he heard in response was sobbing. Finally there was a sound, and his father's trembling voice came through the phone. "Kevin, my son. What happened? Where are you, son?" And the father cried too. "Dad, what's wrong? Is something wrong with Mom?" "Dad, don't be silent," he shouted. "The plane. The plane went down, Kevin. The one you were supposed to be on. We thought you were dead. Mom went down right away." "How? Where are you, son?" "We're on our way." "Kevin, it's a miracle you're alive." His father and mother, snatching the phone from each other, talking at the same time. He suddenly had trouble breathing. He unbuttoned the top buttons. He went out onto the porch. Grandma Dorothy was sitting on a bench in front of the house, handing him a handful of berries. Anchovy the goose was making his way around the property. "Papa, I'm at Grandma's." "No, I'm not delirious." "Don't worry. You come here with Mommy." He hadn't cried since he was 8 years old, since the day he said goodbye to Grandma Adele. But now salty drops were running down his cheeks. And Grandma Dorothy was fussing around, wiping them with her handkerchief. "Daddy, I'm all right. I love you guys so much. You know, we have a grandmother again. Her name is Dorothy. I'm waiting for you and Mom." Kevin continued, suddenly feeling more like a child than a strong man. And he bowed to Anchovy, who in return gently embraced him with 2 wings, leaning his head on his shoulder. Nearby, Grandma Dorothy was being baptized.